Boom.
Yes, what's good, everybody? Quick shit vid. Just jumping in, dropping in. The work permit for Gracia is almost guaranteed to get put through. It's not. I don't think it's going to be done in time for Saturday, so it'll probably be Scuba Hala again on Saturday. But they're talking about, because you have to get a certain amount of points in order to work in England in general anyway. But then they did this with Diego Costa, whatever he's called, who ended up going to Wolves. So if he can't get the work permit, 'cause he's obviously did some work in Qatar, didn't he, in Qatarian League with his last club. So if he can't get the work permit, they can put it in front of like an exceptions board, and there's like 3 people and they vote on it, whether he's got enough credit in bank to manage in England, which he obviously has. He's worked at Watford, hasn't he? He's worked in Spain and stuff, so yeah, it's just because he's been away. So the Auto were getting a bit of shit on radio today again. People just saying that they shouldn't have announced that he was going to be our manager if they weren't sure they were going to get a work permit. He's almost 100% going to get a work permit, number one. Number two, if he hadn't have announced it, we'd have still been in limbo now and people would have really started kicking off. So he can't really win in that sense. He has to announce that we are doing something like making some moves, or he's going to get bummed in the long run, isn't he? So it's one of them things that he has to say that we are making a move, like getting a manager in. Helder's apparently doing really well in Championship. Obviously he moved to Rotherham on loan, didn't he? He's apparently ripping trees up, doing really well. They absolutely love him, winning all his duels and stuff. I actually liked him at left back, to be fair, when he played for us. I thought he was good going forward and stuff. I think it's difficult to tell, isn't it? Because obviously we've seen a lot of Struick and stuff playing left back, and seen a lot of Firpo, who actually had an interview today on TalkSport, and he spoke really well, to be fair. Just saying how important Southampton is on Saturday, which it obviously is. But yeah, he spoke really well, and he ran about how he actually pretty funny. I don't think he meant it like this, but he ran about Gracia or Gracia, whatever, and he was basically saying that he didn't know him. He was like, I've had to ask my friends about him, didn't know him, so pretty funny. And then a bit of shit talk. So Gary Neville's been he's always tweeting, isn't it, Gary Neville? I like Gary Neville as a pundit, but in terms of like when he starts getting on his high horse, I'm a bit sceptical of him really, in general, because obviously he owns Salford City, doesn't he? So I think he disagrees with FFP, financial fair play, which I do as well, because I think it's there to keep the top teams. So like this bullshit with Man City and stuff, they can't just invest their own money because it has to weigh up against the revenue of how much the club earns. But that just means teams like Man U that have great revenue, they can spend as much money as they want basically, and just counterbalance it against how much the business makes. So if you're, a local team, if you're Beeston FC and I'm a billionaire and I want to buy the club, and I mean, it probably wouldn't work for Beeston. I don't know how far FFP goes down the pyramid, but a Championship side or whatever, who've got a decent enough following, like Man City, ultimately they can't compete with the biggest teams in the world. They can monetary-wise, but they can't fan-base-wise. That's why they're trying to build a bigger fan base. So I'm a bit sceptical when he sort of comes in and he's always banging on about Glaciers and how they take money out of the club and stuff. It's their club, they can take money out of it if they want. So there's this independent regulator coming in apparently that he's been banging on about for ages. I don't know, I'm not going to profess to know enough about the independent regulator in fairness. But what I do know is whenever he says something, I'm always a bit sceptical of it. So he's been wanting this in, and my worry is he's got like this mad crusade against 49ers and stuff and against any American ownership, but then he'll go to Qatarian Cup and take all their money and be a pundit on BBC for him. So it's a little bit hypocritical. Never really mentions the Saudi-owned Man City and stuff. It's all a bit... So it's a white paper from the government, so government yet again getting involved in putting the nose in trough where they're not necessarily wanted. And it's basically to try and distribute money more evenly, but so each new owner has to, it's not like a survey, but it's to prove that they've got a plan to be financially secure, and that's coming in pretty soon. So there's talks that'd break down for 49ers whether they wanted to do that or not. I don't know how true that is, whether that's just bullshit. But it's not great, really, for us. And particularly not when everybody else has jumped in and, you know, Chelsea, that guy's just bought Chelsea, spending shitloads of money. Saudis have just got Newcastle and stuff, and it'd be just our luck, really, where... I mean, Americans, I don't really know what the problem is. Americans run it as a business, don't they? And Neville always says they don't understand the English game and stuff, but they're just looking at it as a business, aren't they? They don't really care, so... And one thing that American sport does do is fund itself and feed itself, so it's just a different design, a different setup. I don't want the game to turn American, by the way, but I do want 49ers to take us over and spend some cash. So yeah, be interesting. So what you're saying, I'll drop back in tomorrow talking about Southampton a bit. Hopefully Gracia is about, but to be honest, I think we're at that point now with Gracia. It doesn't really matter if he comes in before Saturday game. I think it'd be better get him in straight after Saturday and just have a full week with club, really. So yeah, take it easy.
The way they've been, the results they've had, 1 defeat in 13. I've got Muppets from Leeds talking about pressures on us and Bamford and Forshaw and a couple of others, and it's over to you and this, that and the other. They got beat 7 times since Christmas. We've been beaten once. We've set it up from Christmas to be in the race.
Boom.
JackCity, bitch! JackCity, bitch! Hey!
I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna play no games. No, I don't wanna hear your promises. You do you and I'll do me. That's just the way it is. Don't wanna ever feel surprised. That's why I ask no.